Good evening. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Nada St. Germain, and I have been a part of this amazing company for over 35 years. When I was first introduced, it was from a neighbor and a dear friend who asked me if I wanted to try these vitamins from this company, and I flat out said, no, thank you. And the reason being is back then, my mom had been struggling with a lot of aches and pains, fibromyalgia, and nothing worked. And I was also struggling with joint pain myself and digestive trouble, a lot of hormonal issues, really bad PMS. And when I heard about this company and supplements, I really didn't take it seriously because, like I said, I watched my mom for many years taking supplements with no results. But something got me curious because my neighbor and dear friend Florence came to me and said, Nada, do you want to just try this? Please just try this because I'm really curious about this company. And she had already started taking just a few things and started noticing a difference. And I trusted her. And I said, Flo, you know what? I said, I'd like to know more about it. So I had somebody come to my home and just kind of give a very quick overview on the company and how they started. And I was so intrigued by the science. I thought, wow, I said, why don't people know about this company? So I basically said to my mom, I said, Mom, let's try. Let's just try these products and see, if they'll help you in any way. And boy, am I ever grateful that we said yes 35 years ago. My mom is in her late 70s and she's pain free now from all aches and pains. My joint pain was gone. I started exercising more regularly. My hormones were, what a difference with hormonal balance, no more PMS. Even my sister had severe hormonal issues and she wasn't getting a cycle at all for a few years, and all that came back. And I just got really excited to share. And I wanted to know more. I wanted to find out what is so different about this company. And I'm going to talk about some of these differences as I go through the presentation, especially when we're dealing with inflammation. And we're going to be focusing a lot on inflammation because inflammation is the root cause of many diseases, not just arthritis, aches and pains, and recovery and things like that we're going to be talking a little bit about, but very important for your brain and cognitive function. And I always joke around with people and say, I want to be there when I get there, right? You want to be able to age gracefully, and your brain needs nourishment. It needs nutrients to keep inflammation down. And there's so many people struggling with this. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that as we go through this presentation. And, when you're looking at longevity in the brain and nutrition for the brain, it's about protection for the mind, sharpness for today, and clarity for tomorrow. And that's what we really want to do, is feeding our brain to have all of this happening. But what I'd like to do first, I'd like to introduce Dr. Liz Applegate. Liz Applegate is a nationally renowned expert on nutrition and fitness. She's a faculty member in the nutrition department and the director of sports nutrition at the University of California at Davies, so UC Davies. And she has written numerous articles in Runner's World magazine. Now, when you talk to Dr. Liz, my goodness, she is so passionate about nutrition. And what's really interesting is Neolife tried getting her on board many, many years ago, and she wanted nothing to do with this kind of company because she knew a lot of companies out there weren't producing good quality products, and she just didn't want anything to do with it. But then when she started researching the research and the science behind the Neolife whole food supplements, she was curious. She researched further, and she joined our scientific advisory board and is now part of an incredible scientific team. And she does a really good talk. She introduced or did this presentation a few years ago at one of our summits. And I just wanted you to hear her introduction and the importance of brain health. And then we're going to dive in a little further. So hopefully you can hear this. Just put your thumbs up if you can, please.
I am so thrilled to be joining the group, and Cesar and Josh, you guys are just really getting me fired up. I've already been fired up about 2022, but this is a way to really land ourselves here and get on with the year. And I got to say, I'm very impressed with the success stories, and I'm going to bring one of them up. In fact, Jen and John really spoke to some of the topics that I'll be addressing. So let's get going with what I'm going to be discussing today. And if we just take a look here, I have been a member of the Scientific Advisory Board, and congratulations, Dr. Beck. You are now the rookie of the board, but hardly a rookie when it comes to superb nutrition experience and scientific background. I've been with the board for 5 years, going on number 6, and I'm always impressed with what Neo Life has to offer. And here is something that I want to point out that I have, I think, a few times, and that is in my 10-year long stay at UC Davis, University of California, Davis, I never got involved in consulting with a nutrition company. And I really was not impressed with what I saw, which was an individual nutrient approach, not a whole food approach, not looking at what was in nature, looking at the background science, and then coming up with a whole food nutrition supplement. And I'd heard about Neo Life, but I thought, well, I'll focus that attention when my load gets a little bit lighter, which is hardly ever. And when I was approached to join as a member of the SAB, I was thrilled, honored, but more impressed as I've come to learn about the tremendous foresight that Neo Life has had over all these incredible decades. So my topic today is one that I've heard many of you allude to, and that is our cognitive health. I want to address a topic that many of us joke about. We say to ourselves, oh, if I could only remember where I fill in the blank, put my keys. I can't come up with that word. I used to be able to add numbers in my head. We have all sorts of our own personal stories about not being as sharp as we used to, maybe having a little bit of fog. Rather than focusing on chronic disease of the brain, Alzheimer's, and other forms of dementia, what I would like to do is to look at this as optimizing, no matter what age we are, look at a way, and do we know through science that we can optimize the health of our brain, the way we think, the way we move numbers around. So first thing is, let's take a look at how does your brain age. During gestation and the first few years of life, you actually add neurons, which are brain cells, and it's growing rapidly. And this is why nutrition during pregnancy and after a child is born is so critical. You can influence the health of the brain, the cognitive skills later in life. We have evidence about what pregnant women eat and the cognitive and IQs of their offspring. During childhood, your brain is busy making neurons, keeping things going and getting bigger. In fact, by age 6, and this is why young children seem to have such large heads, that they have 95% of the adult brain weight by age 6. Pretty amazing, huh? Well, as we go through our teen years, which may seem like decades ago, I'm sure you remember how obnoxious your parents were then, or if you have teens, they're obnoxious. But the bottom line is teenagers or adolescents don't have the proper wiring in yet. It's still developing. Again, nutrition is critical. Well, we start pruning away some of the neurons and refining. And by age 22, so in your adult years, age 22, that's as good as it's going to get, supposedly, for 5 years. Your top brain power is in those middle 20 years. Then, sadly enough, and this is part of aging, we start to see a decline. And this is a combination of a decline in actual cognitive skills, such as memory, our ability to comprehend, in particular reading comprehension. And by your mid-40s, and I hope I'm not discouraging or depressing some of you, by your mid-40s, you actually have measurable loss with memory, reading comprehension, and so on. And of course, as this progresses a number of decades, we see physiological changes that we can assess, and that speaks to the brain actually shrinking in volume. Brain cells start to die, and there are brain pathologies that can develop, such as dementia, that are characterized by changing in protein. You get some amyloid, some plaque buildup, as well as some changes in structural component. But I actually am not going to focus on brain disease. I want to address throughout your lifespan to optimize how your brain works. This based on science and looking at what it is that you're eating. So to address the cognitive level issue, I wanted to put these two people doing the hula hoop because we poke fun at ourselves. And I understand. I'm certainly not in my mid-20s, 30s, or 40s. And I know that I can't find a word that I wanted to use, or I used to be able to stack up 10 different numbers and be able to add them in my head. Well, this is showing you the IQ at levels of different type of skill markers, such as numeric ability and what happens over time. And you can see just the only thing really here to look at is the downward trend. By the time you get to your mid-40s, we see that numeric ability, verbal memory and recall, spatial ability, all of those things start to decline. What we want to address is, can we optimize that? And I did listen to you, Jen, on your success story, and you said you were just kind of in a fog. And a lot of us say that. We just are not as sharp. And I think you used that word about not feeling clear or alert. And this is an important feeling to have and think about. And I guarantee you that your diet does make a difference when it comes to cognitive health. Well, what I want to do is approach how can we slow brain aging? And we want to go through this as sort of a good, better, best. I thought that'd be a fun way to do that. And in chatting with Kendra before we finalized topics, she had this idea, and I really think it's a great way to approach it. Good, what should we all be doing in terms of dietary patterns, whole foods, what essential nutrients are key, and Neolife products that can support brain health. Then what's better for us to do? Can we really add to that and get some benefit, helping to slow cognitive decline that is inevitable? And then finally, what might be best? There are some research studies looking at different herbs and compounds shown to further support brain health, such as to enhance the blood vessel flexibility that actually may enhance blood flow and improve your cognitive skills. So let's take a look at a diet pattern. And this is a picture of some beautiful foods. Just look at the rich colors there that we get from the peppers and the greens and some spices. And that, yes, there's seafood in the middle. And if you're like me, you zeroed in on that glass of wine. Yes, that's there too, but notice not more than one. This is a picture of part of the Mediterranean diet, which has been studied for decades in regions of Europe, in the Mediterranean region, showing that certain food patterns, eating lots of fruits and vegetables, mostly fish as a protein source, a little bit of wine on a routine basis, using olive oil and so on, has been associated with a variety of different health benefits, or a better way to put it, lower risk of chronic disease. And we typically hear that as reduced risk for heart disease, which is true. The DASH diet, dietary approaches to stop hypertension, has to do with, yes, a Mediterranean diet, but even more fruits and vegetables. Just what Dr. Beck was talking about, that the CDC and other assessments of Americans in particular, we fall well short, not just in getting 5 servings, but nowhere near the 10 servings that might be recommended. Well, research from a variety of different universities around the world, in Israel, but also here in the US, Rush Medical Center has coined a phrase called the MIND diet, Mediterranean Dash Intervention for Neurodegenerative Delay. What this is saying is there is a dietary pattern very close to the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet that actually has been shown to delay the degenerative workings that go on as we age. And what's recently come about is this notion that there are certain food types like berries, as you see pictured here, colorful fruits and vegetables, green leafy vegetables, seafood, rich, as Dr. Beck said, in omega-3 fats. In the fall of just this past year, from the Rush Medical Center in Chicago, they actually identified that even in people without brain pathologies, and this is important, everyone, even without signs of losing brain volume or losing ability to recall words, so that we can develop what we call cognitive resiliency by eating diets that are rich in antioxidant foods and anti-inflammatory foods. This is like, being touted as very, very important news, and it is, but let me say this, is that Dr. First and the Scientific Advisory Board were well ahead of their time. I actually am awed at how products were developed knowing that it isn't about just vitamin C or about a single antioxidant, but instead it's this synergy of many different compounds. And Dr. First had the insight to this, and the Scientific Advisory Board has always kept what is occurring in nature, how is this backed by science? So it's really quite incredible. So let's now take a look at specific foods. What can we do that's good? Well, for starters, the Mind Diet, one that has berries in it and greens and all that we talked about. But through all my diet counseling, even from superior athletes who eat quite well, I would say, probably better than most individuals, they can't find the time. They don't know how to prepare foods. They aren't consistent. So really bringing products in the past, I would encourage people with diet. I still do, but I look to products that Neolife has made as a way to get a foundation of antioxidants and other compounds that can impact brain health. For example, Tray. Amazing, ingenious is what I have to say. I did not come up with the formula for this. I was sadly not part of the Neolife board because I would love to pat myself on the back that I had this foresight, but Dr. First and some of the earlier members certainly knew the essence of superfruits like pomegranate, acai berry, and green tea, that there are compounds, not just one essential nutrient, but an array of compounds called polyphenols, and polyphenols as antioxidants and other compounds that help support mental agility. And as we know, that in looking at what's in Tray, it's basically a collection of these superfruits. But if you look at as a product, this is what's incredible: standardized delivery. We know what we say is in there is in there. In fact, 20 times the potent polyphenol that's punagalligan content is consistent from tray bottle to tray bottle. And this, most companies don't even have this product. We know that it's got quite the number of fold, 5 to 10 fold, I believe, of resveratrol found in grapes and other dark colored vegetables and fruits. And also the lycopene and other antioxidants that we find in tomatoes. Tremendous product that we have for us to work with. Vegan protein, and thanks, Dr. Beck, for bringing this up. Why I want to tie this back in with brain health is what we're learning, that as we get older, we actually need more protein. But more importantly, during our lifespan, we have a choice between choosing vegan protein, vegetable or plant-based, and animal-based protein. And important research just out this month, it's not even collected a speck of dust yet and it's being talked about, is we know that getting a diet that overall is higher in protein, especially for people as we get past the age of 50, which is, a lot of people will swear that's the best time of your life, but that by getting more protein, especially eating something at breakfast like a vegan protein pack. So I want to close out on vegan protein by saying again, another point of insight with Neolife, vegan proteins have been shown to help lower the odds of subjective cognitive decline, and also on top of that, getting adequate protein in the diet. So another ingenious development. As Dr. Beck pointed out, omega-3s very important throughout the lifespan. Women who take it during pregnancy, children who get adequate omega-3s as they grow up have really developed better cognitive skills. And we know that higher omega-3 status is linked to less brain shrinkage as a person gets older. So let's take a look just briefly at a few things that have to do with supplementation. That since omega-3s serve as a component of brain cell membranes, we actually have seen that increase with getting more omega-3s in the diet as well as supplementation. This is one of those nutrients through working with people that I have found we just don't get the omega-3s that we need on a consistent basis. Omega-3s also produce cellular mediators that improve the health of your neurons, neuronal health or brain cell health. And finally, we're interested in how can we minimize inflammation, as Dr. Beck spoke about, and I know that John Miller will be addressing, that can lead to brain cell death. So in comes Neolife Omega-3 Salmon Oil Plus, another ingenious invention as far as I'm concerned. I wasn't around for its origination. 8 different omega-3s. Most omega-3 supplements look at 1 or 2, and this is an array getting the goodness that comes from cold water fish, salmon oil, omega-3s. And this is critical newer research that omega-3 supplementation is shown to significantly improve the cognitive function. And in the center in the brain, the hippocampus, where we know memory and many other cognitive roles are centered. Well, what can we do better? What can we add on to Trey and vegan protein and omega-3s? Well, we can help fill in our gaps, and that's exactly what Pro Vitality does. And Neolife Tea actually addresses the polyphenol story. So you know what's in Pro Vitality: brain concentrate, carotenoid complex, salmon oil plus, and vitamin and mineral complex. Ingenious to look at how can we best fill in the gaps and provide ourselves with nutrients that will help support many different aspects of your overall health. But in particular, looking at brain function. So those nutrients specifically play a role and have been shown to be associated with better cognitive function. What about Neolife Tea? Well, this is a product that has a proprietary blend of different teas: white tea, black tea, green teas. And as mentioned earlier, Dr. Beck mentioned a green Mediterranean diet. And this is one in which green tea and an additional load or intake of green leafy vegetables has been shown, and just fresh out research showing that it actually has slowed brain atrophy in individuals who do not show signs of Alzheimer's. So these are not individuals who have brain chronic disease, such as a form of dementia. They have just shown that this phenol enriched, which what the Neolife Tea is providing, which they provide a different batch or blend of greens and green tea, but polyphenol enriched. So can we say Trey, green tea, the Neolife Tea has been shown to lessen the atrophy of the brain, and this can help long-term in cognitive health. Well, let's finish up with what's best. What can we literally, without putting frosting on it, because that's high in sugar and not part of the MIND diet pattern, what herbs and other compounds may play a role in mental acuity? Well, coenzyme Q10, lecithin, and mind enhancement complex are 3 products that Neolife has had out for some time and ingeniously again play right into that brain health story in many different ways. CoQ10 is an antioxidant. It works in all of your cells to help with the energy release from foods and can act as an antioxidant as well. Well, you might say, and I learned this way back when I was in graduate school, is that we make CoQ10. That's true. But guess what? We start to slow down as we get older. And I don't mean 110 is getting older. I mean 30s, 40s. And by age 50, we're making 50% of what we had earlier. So it's important to look to a source of it. To get more in the diet. And this is a naturally sourced product with also polyphenol. What were those? Those important compounds that act as an antioxidant that help develop cognitive resiliency. Lecithin, which we know is a component of parts of it as brain cells, is another item that we know it plays a key role in memory and in muscle function as well. And the components of this lecithin, phosphatidylcholine, underline the word choline, is involved in the transmission of the crosstalk between brain cells and the nervous system, so neurons. So acetylcholine as a neurotransmitter. So this is an important role of this nutrient, which, let's go back to our earlier years during gestation, after being born, first couple years of life. Evidence shows, research evidence, that getting choline early in life from food sources like egg yolk or from outside supplemental sources, and this natural source can help support healthy brain function and delay some of the onset of cognitive decline. And finally, are there some herbs? We hear lots about this, people taking all sorts of things, even experimenting on their own. Well, the Neolife Scientific Advisory Board turned to worldwide what herbs have been used that science backs up. So we're looking at what's in nature, what does science back up? And there are several herbs found in this mind enhancement complex. And it's a synergistic blend. We know that ginkgo biloba, for example, helps the flexibility of blood flow, the blood vessels into the brain, has been shown to improve mental clarity. Another herb that's in mind enhancement complex is Gutu kola, which also has been shown with research to help with cognitive skills. And finally, another one, red sage, the same, with having also polyphenols and enriched antioxidant content to help optimize your mental performance. So rather than thinking of cognitive ability as, oh, I'll worry about that when I'm really old, is we want to look to how well can we nourish our children, our teenagers, young adults, and ourselves as we go on in life to maximize at any age, optimizing our cognitive health. So thanks so much, all of you, and happy 2022. Let's go in with it with some clear thinking and focus.
Don't you just love her? Oh, she is such a sweetheart. And we're so blessed and so grateful to have Dr. Liz, part of our scientific advisory board. And, you know, when you're looking at Neolife as a whole, they're so passionate about the quality. And some of you that are very new to this company or looking at this for the first time, we're based on whole food. And she was very clear on food being our medicine, but the challenge is eating enough of those right foods. So Neolife stays within the human food chain and non-GMO since 1958. So 66 years old guide. And she talked about the scientific advisory board. So grateful to have met many of these guys. And some of you are going to be seeing them in July at our summit in Vegas. But just remember, they work together. They're world-renowned scientists and nutrition experts. They're active, published, and very well respected. And Dr. First was the founding member of the scientific advisory board. He was considered one of the top cancer researchers in the world. He founded the Stanford Cancer Chemotherapy Laboratory. He was the co-founder of oral chemotherapy. Now, when you look at Dr. First and his background, he shifted his focus to prevention and ending the trend of chronic disease because he knew that food played such a key role in many things in our body, especially when it comes to our mind. And yes, this is Mary Ellen and I. We hang out with Dr. First. I just wanted you to know that they are involved with our company. They don't just endorse the products. We get to meet them, talk with them, hang out with them. And this is where we learn most of our stuff to teach you guys and to help you understand the Neolife difference and world-class research, and the partnership we have with many organizations, third-party credibility, published in several medical journals. And when you look at, Neolife's philosophy being based in nature and backed by science, the finest natural nutrients from whole food, to really help to increase your wellness and also bioavailability. It's important to make sure that the nutrients are being absorbed. So maximum nutrient absorption, utilization, and benefits. So when you're looking at cognitive function, we're going to focus a little bit more, dive in a little bit deeper on some of the solutions that Dr. Liz talked about to keep your mind active. The omega-3 fatty acids was huge, super antioxidants from superfoods that she talked about, and supportive herbs. Now, she talked about the Pro Vitality. And I love this product because it is like your core product, it's your core nutrition. It has those 4 nutrients that she talked about, the TRINN, the carotenoid, the omega-3 salmon oil, and 1 multivitamin. So it really is a great multivitamin pack. And the TRINN, that first green capsule that was in that little packet, this is essential for cell function. Do you know nobody has this? It's been around since 1958, 66 years old. And it started because they started milling and processing our grains. Our grains are no longer whole. They remove all these good fats, these lipids, so our foods have a longer shelf life. And we're left with this starch product, protein, gluten, where people have troubles absorbing and utilizing. And these essential oils are so important. The only way to get these grains, oils back into your diet is to eat fresh, non-rancid, whole seeds and grains and nuts, or take 1 TRINN. Look how many grains you'd have to consume to get the equivalent oil that's found in 1 TRINN grain concentrate. And, when you look at even the calorie content, but these grain oils help the cell membrane work better. So how does that help your brain? Well, we have 73 trillion cells, and many of those cells are in our brain. So we want to make sure the cells are functioning properly. Nutrients go in and waste goes out. And these lipids and sterols keep the cell membrane soft and permeable so nutrients can go in and waste can go out. So that's why this is the foundation, the core nutrition. Okay. So that's when you're looking at supplementation, I didn't know who to trust either, especially when I saw my mom taking stuff for many years. There's so many products out there, and there's a lot of studies and tests that have been done. And this is just one one study that was done where, they found products that were marketed as dietary supplements that contain hidden active ingredients that are unsafe or unstudied. So you really need to know where you're getting your products from. Are they regulated? Are they tested? Just like omega-3, it is a #1 counterfeit nutritional supplement out there. They are creating fake fish oils. That's why when my mom was taking stuff, and even we have a few people actually on the call here. Cindy, you were struggled with pain from the neck down with fibromyalgia. I know people that had a lot of arthritic pain. They were taking omega-3s, but they weren't getting results. Why? And all of a sudden, we introduced Neolife, and they're getting results with our omega-3. Omega-3 is so important, and the quality is important, and it's important for brain health. It supports the nervous system, long-term brain health. It helps to retain better cognitive function over time. So when you look at this, even mental performance, IQ scores increase, better brain and vision and development for the baby. Okay, so important. And when you look at the salmon oil plus that Neolife has, man, it has all 8 omega-3s. Nobody has this. It's been clinically proven to work, guaranteed potency. When you look at how this product is made, tested for 200 contaminants, with an elapse of 0. This is, I have to say, one of the most important products in my life. This product saved my son's life. He had a brain injury a month after COVID, and they airlifted him to the brain injury clinic in Hamilton. And they told me he had a 6-month window recovery, and they really didn't know what he would be like after the surgery. So we were devastated. We were a mess. And I contacted the brain surgeon and asked him if I could put Jack on our omega-3. Now, I'm so grateful that the doctor that was doing the surgery on Jack had, well, he was from India, so he had both Eastern and Western medicine education. And he told me that omega-3 plays a key role in brain injury healing and recovery. And he approved our products at the hospital. Jack was home in 6 weeks with 100% recovery. This played a key role in reducing inflammation so he can heal faster. It's not a cure. When you reduce inflammation in the body heals faster. So when you're looking at headaches, migraines, joint pain, cognitive function, this is a powerful product. And we've had so many testimonials, and you're going to hear from some of them this evening. And then your fruits and veggies. Dr. Liz even said, how many fruits and vegetables should we be eating every day? They're saying what, not 10 to 13 servings every single day. I don't know who does that. So this is the other little capsule that's in that Pro Vitality. And it's made from your dark colored fruits and veggies. And it helps to protect you from aging, oxidizing, and it's just great to fill that nutritional gap. So that's the other little product that's in there. But what I would like to do now, I would like to have a beautiful, beautiful story shared. I mean, Aaliyah's journey, it just hit my heart completely. And her mom, Jean, is on this evening. And I'm just going to do a very quick explanation. If anybody wants the full testimonial, Jean wrote this out to me and sent it to me. I can forward it to you for those of you that have not received it. But Jean is now 17. Sorry, Aaliyah is now 17 years old. She had meningitis as a child, seizures, severe seizures, in and out of hospitals for 6 years, and so many medications. Vagal nerve stimulator, it did work at first, but after 2 years, it wasn't giving them the expected results. Onto a nose feeding tube. Then she was transferred to ICU, so many medications and different trials. And they even induced a coma for 5 days. And she came out where she couldn't swallow anymore. Like there was a lot of phlegm. They almost lost her. And now they put a G tube fed through her stomach. And when Jean came to Yuli's in-home meeting, and some of you, I don't know if you know this, but we do gather in people's homes where we do presentations, and Yuli invited Jean. And Jean, you were really, really skeptical. But what I would love now is to have Jean share her daughter's journey and how the Neolife salmon oil and some of the other products have impacted your daughter's life. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, Jean.
Good evening, everyone.
Oh,
At first when I went to the Neolife open house, I really skeptical because I don't know if it's really gonna help my daughter or what, but thinking that I put too much, like she has a lot of surgery. She has a vagal nerve stimulator, the DBS for the last one last year. So I said, okay, why don't we try the uh salmon oil? So I went with my aunt Luz. So we to the Neolife open house. So I started when I got the package, the salmon oil. I started the omega-3 right away. I started like the first day of December, and then when she has the EEG on December 20, they can see some difference because I asked them if I can do cutting the keto diet because my daughter doesn't want to eat anything. She still wants to eat whatever she wants to eat before. But when they did that test, yesterday we went to the hospital for a follow-up, and I realized that when they did the EEG, the result is really amazed the doctor because there's a changes on her EEG test. So because they didn't tell me, the dietitian said, I was so surprised that the doctor said yes to remove the keto diet. And I just know it yesterday that the EG it's really good. So now that I can see that when she's sleeping, she only have a seizures. That's the only time that she's having seizure now, not like before when she's awake, she has a seizure, but now she only have seizure like 1 or 2 seizures, but lately I don't see any seizure at all when she's sleeping at night, which is really nice of it. So, and then because before she also has a seizure, like 5 seizures a night, which is every day, every night she always have a seizure. But I noticed that it's always coming out. And I also noticed that she is retaining things better. She can remember better also, which is before she can't. Like everything, she always forgot everything every time she has a seizure. So we started slowly stopping the keto diet last January 4. And they skeptically said that maybe she's gonna have a lot of seizures again, which is not. So I'm happy for that. And I'm grateful that he's fighting. And thank you
Yeah.
for the salmon oil.
And Jean, and
If,
how,
if
and
not the salmon oil,
you're administering it through her
yes,
G,
yes.
right? In her,
I cut the salmon oil and put it on the syringe and put it on her G tube. I have to sneak
beautiful.
because the doctor, they don't want me to do anything when she's in the hospital. So I have to
Right.
sneak in and put the three capsules on her, the only the liquid on it, and I eat
Yeah,
the cup
yeah.
the the
Actually,
capsule. But
when Jean
now,
told me,
right now, I'm
yeah,
giving her 6 capsules now.
so you're giving her 6 capsules, you squeeze it in the G tube, and then you chew or swallow the rest of it because you know how good it is. You
Yes,
don't want to be wasting any of
yeah,
it,
I don't
right?
want to waste
So,
it. So there's still something in there. So yeah,
yeah,
I'm eating the rest, but it's
good
okay.
girl. That's good. That's
And
good.
now
And
that Nada told me that I can add also the Neolife vegan protein, which I
yeah,
already started, and
excellent.
then the 3NN.
Yes,
I have to order for that one. So I'll
excellent.
I'll keep you update
Yes,
for the next few
baby
months.
steps, Jean. And you know what? Even just starting with the salmonol, now tray and N and the vegan protein and I know you were asking about the tray. So again, step by step, right? A little bit at a time. Now that you're getting results and just
Yeah, it's
keep on
amazing.
trucking. So I was so grateful. Like I said, when you first share that, I was just so happy for you because I know I could see it in your face. You're glowing now. When we first met you, you were stressed, you were tired, you were because I know you worry about your kids, right? And
Yeah.
now you know there's some hope, right? So, well, thank you
Mhm.
so much for joining us tonight. Really, truly appreciate you.
Thank you. Mm.
I think that is frozen.
That is frozen, yes.
Yeah, Nada's frozen.
Mm-hmm. I just texted. Oops. It happens. So she's gone out. She'll come.
It looks like she just went out and she's gonna come back in.
Mm.
Anybody have a testimonial that they'd like to share?
Maybe I can go ahead. I'm supposed to do a testimonial for the
Sounds great.
right? Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
It's yeah. Oh, my name is Joan Poon. I've been with Neolife for 29 years, and I met this lady in 1995, and her son had the same sort of similar issues. So I'll just read her testimonial that she had. Her son Johan sustained brain injury at birth. It was a lesion in the right occipital region, resulting in mild left-sided hemiplegia and severe epileptic disorder. thought to be Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. What that means was that he can experience anywhere between 5 to 20 seizures an hour. He's also attention deficit hyperactivity disordered. Trials of anticonvulsant drugs failed to bring about seizure control. Several trips abroad were beneficial, but meant a tight regime of blood level testing. Since using GNLD's omega-3 salmon oil concentrate, aloe vera plus, and feminine herbal complex, he had the best 2+ years of his life. Seizures are also under good control. Fine and gross motor skills have improved, as has his attention deficit also. He seldom gets viruses or colds. He began school in 1994, October, and no longer wears a hockey helmet. So he was wearing a hockey helmet. He's now completely off prescribed drugs, and she named the drugs that he was on. And in case you're wondering about the feminine herbal, she said he would bang his head on the wall and thrash his body around. And some of the herbs in the feminine herbal helped him to quiet him down and took care of that too. So amazing testimonial, similar to Alia's, and this is like 29 years ago. Yeah.
And
So
that's fabulous. And share your background, Joan, too, just so that people on the call know why you understand some of the meds that you were just mentioning there.
Okay. So I'm a retired registered nurse, and just to give you a history, I was introduced to Neolife because I had just finished treatments for breast cancer, and I was looking for something to boost my immune system and my energy level. And that's how I came and got in touch with Neolife, because I was drawn to the science behind the products. And within a few weeks, I felt a huge difference in my energy level. My immune system is stronger, and I can call myself a breast cancer thriver of 31 years. And the products gave me the confidence, right, during that time, because as a cancer survivor, you always worry about recurrence, right? And knowing that I have these products that work, it helped me a lot. So yeah, so that's basically my story. And now I'm doing a business. I couldn't help but sharing, and I think if you have a gift like Neolife, you've got to share it, and that's how I developed my business. And because of my business, I was able to take early retirement from the hospital 13 years ago. And I continue to help people in a different way, just help people being more proactive with their health and trying to prevent disease, really. So I'm grateful for your life. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Joan, for sharing that. And I think as Nada is trying to come back on, she's had to reboot her computer, good old technology. We're going to, if there's anybody on the call, let's go with, if it has to do with cognitive health, that you can share a testimonial. The other thing that we can look at too is we talked a lot about inflammation and how that really affects our brains. So anybody with migraine, or anybody else with inflammation stories, because inflammation is all through the body, right? So is there somebody else who would like to share their testimonial?
Well, I can share.
Okay, thank you, Leonie.
Well, I used to have a lot of headaches, like a lot of migraines, and I used to be taking the Tylenol. No, I'm allergic to Tylenol, but Aleve. And anyway, it does work, but then it'll come back. But I started to take the salmon oil, and sometimes when it's so bad, I'll take like 3 at one shot. And you know what? It's really very effective. I don't have any migraines anymore. And recently I developed this tennis elbow, and I can tell you some days it's so painful, but again, the salmon oil brings down that inflammation. And it's quite an incredible little pill if you want, but it definitely works, and it takes the pain away.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, it's such a key when it comes to migraines, because I remember we also have a friend, Mary Ellen, who had migraines her whole life, and started on, I always thought that she would have them because her father had them or her grandfather had them, and started using the salmon oil as well, and is now 27 years. Slowly,
Mhm.
slowly they spread out as the inflammation came down, and hasn't had a migraine now for 27 years. So absolutely, we know that the products, because they are science-based and in nature, our body knows what to do with them. And we don't cure anything. We don't, but when you give the body nutrition, it can do amazing things for sure. Anybody else have a testimonial that they'd like to share, either cognitive health or something else?
I think Gina looks eager.
Tina,
Her brain
do
fog.
you have something to share? Absolutely, go ahead.
Well, when I started out Neolife, can you hear me? Am I
Yeah.
on? Yeah. Um, I started taking Neolife for I was having a lot of pain in my joints, and as you talk about salmon oil, it certainly does the job. It works well because I tried all kinds of different things, and even a regular omega-3s, but when I noticed a difference with Neolife's salmon oil, um, and it is a true testimony to what it says about having, the full 8 omega oils, because I like to do research. And I started taking it, and within 3 months, I saw the difference with my joints, and my inflammation went down. I started to feel much better. I was able to walk up the stairs, you know, and it felt great again, so I could go outside and walk. But I just want to say that that product it definitely is something that I would take on a daily basis for sure. So I certainly would recommend it to those who are having joints or pain. It really helps.
Thank you so much for sharing, Gina, and thank you everybody for being willing to share your testimonials. We can always talk all day about the tree NN2, just with helping ourselves and getting everything working better. But I do see that Nada has come back on. So Nada, whether or not you want to share your screen or whether or not
Well,
you take it
I
away.
can't, I'm not gonna be able to share my screen. I did something very different. I actually hopped on my phone, and because I thought I'd rather hop on than not hear your amazing stories. I don't know what happened, but you know what's really interesting about technology, and I have to say I'm so grateful. The recording is continuing, so it doesn't disrupt it, even though I lost my internet and everything, which is so great for Zoom. So I'm so grateful that you guys were able to share your amazing stories and testimonials. So thank you all for sharing. And for those of you that are new, I know they talked about the vegan proteins, and a few people have asked me, well, why is protein, how does that also play a role? Even the Neolife shake, which is part of our breakfast solution, how does that play a role with cognitive function? And one thing that I wanted to share with you is that also regulating blood sugar is really important for brain function and cognitive health. So that's why the Neolife shake or the vegan protein, whichever protein you choose, will also help with brain function. And it's so important. So when you're looking at the vitamin pack, the Pro Vitality, and you add the protein shake, that is called a breakfast solution. So you can definitely just even start with something basic as those products.
Oh,
Oops, again.
Hey, I'm going to continue on here. So I'm just going to text her and say you're breaking up. So here we
Okay,
go.
okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah, frozen.
yeah, as Nada was saying, the breakfast pack is certainly a great place to start, and then you will add on, depending on what is going to a little bit here and there, you can add on other things for your specific focus of what you want to improve. So I think the other thing is just knowing that we are always here to answer any questions and to get any information if to answer your questions. Everything is backed by science, so that's always awesome. So I think what we'll do is, and I know that this might be recording because I don't think that Nada can stop the recording. Are there any other questions? I mean, some of you are here because you're curious just about the products. Some of you are here because you're curious about, having a little bit of extra income on the side, which is what several of us, because when you get results, you start sharing your story, and that's an option as well. So know that's something that we can chat about. Yeah, if that's of interest. But does anybody have any other questions just about the cognitive health or anything else that we haven't quite touched on?
Sorry, can I ask question?
Absolutely.
My name is Christiana, though I log in with the name Ijoma. So my question is, I have a friend that has PTSD. Is diagnosed with anxiety disorder. She's currently taking a fluoxetine. She has taken it for more than a year now, and she wants to see if she can withdraw it. So I don't know what can help her.
Okay, so let me just say what I heard, just to make sure that I heard it correctly. So you have a friend who has PTSD and is on some meds under a doctor's care, and you're wondering if there's anything else that you could add to help her. Am I correct?
Yes, because they're trying to withdraw the medication. So she wants to see if there are supplements that will help her go through the withdrawal process.
Right. Okay. So what I'm going to say here is to answer that question. Definitely what Nada was saying in terms of the whole vitality with the nutrients and the shakes, because they're made from food. So if the meds that the doctor has prescribed can be taken with food, then they would go hand in hand. And then it would be up to the doctors as she is improving to then, decrease her off the meds. Okay, we're not here to suggest that she stop or anything with the meds. That would be up to the doc between her and her doctor. But that would be a place to start. I actually have a friend who also has PTSD. And when he started using, he just actually started with the Pro Vitality, and he just noticed how the nutrients were just feeding his body so much that it really, really helped him to cope better. And now he has added the shakes as well for some good nutrition. So there's an example as well. So that would be the starting point, as long as what the doctor says with those meds can be taken with food.
Okay. Thank you so much. The answer is clear.
Okay. Nada, do you want to try again?
No, what your explanation is clear. It's fine.
That's fine. Great.
I'm not sure
Okay.
if you can hear me. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, you can start if you want.
I
Go
think
ahead.
we should. I'm going to try to close the meeting. Let me just get out of the other Zoom. Technology, man. I've never done that before, being on the Zoom with the two different devices. So that's pretty exciting. Anyways, thank you so much for all of you jumping on. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you're probably wondering how to get a hold of these amazing products. And we did talk about the Pro Vitality, the breakfast solution, and then we have a weight loss solution as well. For those of you that are new and joining us for the first time, we even have products for kids. So, the salmon oil, Jean, is something that she's giving her daughter as well. But we do have a liquid version that has just the grain oils and vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, and then also the Vita Squares and the Vita Guard, which is similar to what's in that Pro Vitality, the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. If you're looking for good nutrition for your kids, this is a great foundation, along by adding the Neolife Shake. So when you're looking at, the products and how to get started, you can become a member for free. You can get a discount on the products. I'm just trying to figure out, here it is here. So to become a member, just to try the products, you automatically get a 10% discount, and you can even qualify to get a 20% discount. So double your savings by going on what we call a NeoShip order, a monthly order. And that vitamin pack is a month supply, or the breakfast solution is a month supply, or even if you're just doing 3 salmon oil a day, that's a month's supply. So when you have that coming on NeoShip, you get a 20% savings. And also, for being a loyal customer, the company will give you back all your shipping after 6 months in loyalty points, and you can spend it on other products. And we have an amazing referral program. When you refer 3, you get your products for free. So just a great system overall, especially if you're just looking at trying the products. And if you're thinking about, the possibility of looking at this as for an income opportunity, I was not. I was working as a police officer in the city. I thought that was going to be my career. But as I started sharing these products, I realized over time that I wanted more time freedom and to stay home and start a family. And I started to build an incredible business. And where can you build a business in Canada for as little as $98 to start or $75 in the US? It's just a great way to get a 25% savings. And that's when you can really start to look at generating a part-time income that could possibly lead to a full-time income like myself, where I was able to leave my police career. And again, these are the different health packs that we talked about and the kids products. And again, if you or anyone you know really enjoys helping others, it really forms an amazing foundation for an incredible income opportunity. But if you're just looking to try the products, just give them a try. It's free to become a member. You get, again, if you're thinking, well, maybe down the road, maybe possibility looking at the income, just reach out to us and we're here to help you and guide you in that direction. And if you just want to learn more, that's great. That's what I wanted to do when I started. I just wanted to learn more. We do regular presentations every week and we change up the topics where you hear a lot of stories and testimonials, very similar to what you heard this evening. So again, I want to thank you all for stepping in and saving the night, guys. Really appreciate the teamwork. I'll stop the presentation. And again, if there's anything else you want to share after we stop the recording.